I'm back for the fire element practice in the series of videos about nervous system health. So I'll start again by saying you absolutely can bring that healthy range back into your nervous system. And our nervous system has a healthy range. I feel like I keep saying this, just like any physical structure in our body. So our shoulder has a healthy range, our hip has a healthy range, and our nervous system also has a healthy range that it can lose due to injury, stress, ongoing pain, all sorts of reasons, really. And our nervous system should be able to move from rest and digest to social engagement, to fight or flight, to shut down. So it's really important to recognize that fight and flight and shut down aren't unhealthy things that shouldn't happen. They're very healthy things that have protective measures, and they absolutely should be happening. But that shouldn't be the only thing that you can do with your nervous system. And for lots of us, we do start to feel like perhaps I can't do anything else except for jump when there's a noise, worry, feel tired, feel like I need to step back, feel like I don't have the capacity to join in, feel like there is a danger and I just need to keep scanning for that danger to keep myself safe, and that I am not safe. So if those are sorts of thoughts and actions that you really recognize in yourself, then perhaps you have lost some of that range of movement in your nervous system. In yoga, we language all of that with rajas, tamas, and sattva. So if you've heard those terms, we're talking about those same things here. And in Ayurveda, we language that around prana and pancha prana, those 5 directions of prana. So you've got your prana, udana, samana, vyana, and apana, and in its unhealthy state, that's called Vata Dosha. So just in case you're coming from that space of yoga or Ayurveda, all of those things are the same thing. We're talking about all of that. So let's look at the fire element practice and how we can use that to really help bring a nervous system back into its full range of movement. And I'm going to pick 3 qualities from the fire element. I'm going to pick warmth, which you can see why that is affiliated with the fire element. I'm going to pick quickness, another guna or another quality of the body and of nature and of the fire element. And I'm going to pick something called sukshma, which is translated as subtle, but because it's subtle, it means getting to that underlying thing. So hopefully you are somewhere where you can practice with me, or you can come back later and practice with me. We're going to start with warmth and heat of the fire element and apply that to our nervous system to help it get its range back. So warmth, yes, definitely. You can go and get a hot water bottle at this stage. You can think, I'm going to get in a hot, warm bath. All those sorts of things are really helpful. Anything that you can do to warm up. I think I've said it a couple times now. When your nervous system goes into distress, one of the things that happens is you'll feel cold. So anything that you can think of to warm yourself up is great, but we can also warm the emotions up as well. So it's no mistake in our language when we say something like, it was so scary that my blood ran cold. So that's kind of exactly what happens when we get stuck in that fight, flight, function and attitude, and we're not able to get out of it. So yes, you can absolutely go and grab something warm, get warm, think of all the things that you would do to get warm. We can also warm up the emotions as well. And we can warm up the emotions just by taking the hand over the heart. So I hope I'm not making the mic go quiet. That feels better already. You can take your hands over your heart and imagine and send and bring the attitude of warmth into your heart space. And if you're a little bit unclear or you don't feel there's enough instruction around sending warmth, this is exactly the kind of thoughts and attitude and things that you would say to a loved one who was under stress. So you are directing all of that warmth and kindness and compassion and love and soothing and calming to yourself, directing it straight into the heart space, sending that warmth inwards. And then you really do have to set yourself on receive as well, which sometimes can be a little bit of a block. So you can imagine this area under your heart, under your hands, that whole heart space opening up to receive. And you can go back to that. You can do it for as long as you want. So remember all these techniques. You're kind of just putting in your pocket the ones that really work for you, that are like a medicine for you. Anything that doesn't really jive with your feelings and your needs, you can just, you can chuck it away or you can save it for later, because sometimes the things that don't work in one moment work really well in a different scenario or at a different time. So the second one is this quickness of the fire element. So there is a sun point or a Surya point in the body, and that is a marma point. And a marma is where the body and the mind meet, where the subtle meets the physical. And that Surya point is right, let me stand up, it's right in the diaphragm space. So you can again put your hands there and send a little bit of warmth into that warm point. And only if it's all right for you, we're going to just quicken it up a little bit. So you're going to notice your inhales and exhales, and you'll feel the inhale and the exhale reverberate through this point in your body. And we're gonna send a quickening into it, mainly by the inhale riding into the exhale, riding into the inhale. So it's not that we're going to be breathing fast, although it might be a little bit faster than you breathe when you're very, very relaxed. So don't worry about whether your breath is quickening or slowing. We're just going to kind of round it out, as it were. So you're going to count 5, kind of like seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So on that inhale, you're counting to 5. So my counting may have been off with your rhythm. So just add it into the rhythm of your breathing. And on your exhale, it's that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the inhale, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you're doing about a count a second-ish. And as you can see with that count, we're not stopping at the bottom of the exhalation. We're not stopping at the top of the inhalation. So that is a different rhythm to lots of other breaths, lots of other pranayama, and certainly very different to what happens when we just leave the breath alone. So you're just getting that round rhythm. And if this feels not right for you, you don't have to push through it. So all of the practices are about bringing comfort. So even some of the practices that are quite like this fire element brings like a sharpness, a quickness in. If that isn't right for you, if it doesn't feel comfortable, it isn't right for you. So just leaving anything aside that doesn't increase comfort and increase a feeling of safety. When we go into shutdown, which is one of those stress situations, it's like a freeze response. So if we get caught there, it can be quite helpful to add a little sharpness, little quickness, little warmth. So this will definitely suit some people and not others. Again, if it doesn't suit you, just pop it in your back pocket and bring it out another time when you possibly need it. Last breath in and out. And now we're going to go for that sukshma, which is that subtle, almost imperceptible, and we're going to just use it with the breath. You can take your hands down into your lap, or you can still hold a point in the body if that feels really good to you. And we're just going to very slowly make the breath more and more gentle, so that the breath has less and less physicality to it. So we can't really hear it. We can barely feel it. You're just taking away the obviousness of the breath. And this is going to help your nervous system to dive down underneath what is happening. So sometimes it can feel a little bit too intense for you. Again, if it feels too much, doesn't feel right, then it isn't right. But you can play with it a little bit here because we're not doing it for too long. One of the things that I will go back to in some other videos is that we certainly don't want to jump over our feelings and into fixing things. So it's perfectly okay if it's manageable for you to feel lots of feelings. In fact, we have to add that into the mix when we're trying to regain health in our nervous system. Unfortunately, we can't just jump over and past those difficult, uncomfortable feelings. We need to learn how to feel, be uncomfortable, sit with those feelings, and do the work to regain the healthy function of the nervous system so that it can go there and move back out, go there and move back out, if that makes sense. So you're still trying to make your breath more and more subtle, more and more quiet, more and more gentle, more and more difficult to perceive, and just keep going with that direction. You can't really get this wrong, just figuring out what it means to you, having a bit of a play with it. Okay, last breath in and out. So we've done 3 qualities with each of the elements. We've done 3 of the elements. We've done the earth, the water, and the fire. So you've got 9 techniques now. And hopefully in there you found a couple that at the moment really work for you, and maybe you found a couple that you're saving aside to try in a different scenario, different situation. Next time we'll be looking at the wind element, so I'll see you there.